speaking of the Bears, we start there with Sunday Night Football, which just wrapped up tonight. And guys, I want to know where you're at currently on Caleb Williams. Obviously, in week one, you didn't really even get to see much of the flashes. Tonight, I think you saw a little bit of the flashes. So, Bo, I want to start with you. Just what was your vibe about the Caleb Williams experience tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in on Caleb Williams pretty strongly. I'm getting close to maybe being tepidly out on Shane Waldron. The plan for preparing for what the Texans defense was throwing at them, obviously not very good. And all of these sort of just, sort of Bo Nixie type throws where it's like 5 yards or shorter from the line of scrimmage, not doing too much for me. So, I mean, I think you do have to say that this Texans defense could be one of the best in the league. So this is not necessarily the biggest red flag of a performance. I think some of those, the interceptions that he throws, the extemporaneous plays, those are things that you would expect that he gets better with over time. And there's a long history of quarterbacks who throw a bunch of interceptions in their rookie season, getting better over time, Peyton Manning being one of them. So I'm still pretty in on Caleb Williams, but I do, like, for me, the clock is sort of ticking on whether the Bears are going to have to make a change in who they're going to trust to make Caleb Williams the quarterback that he can be.
Jeff, what did you think?
Obviously, a couple of games in, it's so hard, and he's incredibly, incredibly talented. But 2 weeks of NFL football, it's just kind of been welcome to the NFL stuff, I think. But there are a lot of plays that, you're used to seeing Caleb Williams make in college where he buys time, he moves around, he makes an incredible throw. Holy cow, that worked out. And in the NFL so far, it seems like he can still kind of do that. Oh, okay, I bought time. Here we go. Here comes the amazing throw, and the amazing throw gets intercepted. So I think that there's just a natural learning curve that you're no longer playing against a few NFL players on a team against you. The pressures are different. They're harder to get away from. There's always somebody else coming. It's not supposed to be so easy for a DC like it was tonight, where the answer was, if you didn't blitz Caleb Williams, he was really good. And if you did, he was awful. It's not supposed to be that simple. And I do think that there's a learning curve. He's super, super talented. I'm definitely not out on him, but I'll eyebrow raise at him while at the same time acknowledging that the Bears have made every quarterback that they've had look terrible for a long time now.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. He's fighting years and decades of rich Chicago Bear history, and not in a good way, where they've never had a viable franchise quarterback in the sense that, top 10 to 12 in the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns. I inevitably believe Caleb Williams will get there, but I also think it's a little bit funny to look back at some of the narratives this offseason and talking about the Chicago Bears being a contender in the NFC, like a true contender. There were people who thought they were going to win the division and be a top seed for a guy who's never taken an NFL snap. And I think, CJ Stroud, be damned, we just don't see that all that often. Then you look at some of the complementary players they brought in. Keenan Allen hasn't been a factor. Rome Odunze, I don't think is in the class yet of a Neighbors or a Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, they have a long way to go. I think they're going to be viable, probably more toward end of October, November, December, but that could still end up netting them like 7 or 8 wins this year. They're in a very unique spot with Caleb where there's these expectations, these weighted expectations of you need to be good right away, but oh, by the way, you're a rookie too. Like our timeline was fitting Justin Fields. Like his pop year was supposed to be last year and this year, and we're supposed to be winning the NFC North. Now with Caleb, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, and it's just like maybe he just needs to be a rookie for a year, and you let the win-loss kind of be damned.
Yeah, I agree. And kind of looking back on Caleb in college, and for those of you who don't know, I spent many years covering the Broncos and now mostly focused on covering Colorado football. So I watched Caleb a lot in the Pac-12, and I think he has like a thing that you probably want in your quarterback, which is like a little bit of like a Superman complex. It's just like I can make anything happen at any time. And in college, a lot of times he did make those plays. And like tonight you saw, I think that he feels like when he gets the opportunity to make one of those crazy plays where you escape out of nowhere, and then you're towing the line of scrimmage, and you're just like, okay, this is my chance to uncork one down the field. We haven't had this opportunity all night. He feels like he has to take it. And what you see with guys even like Patrick Mahomes, who is able to pull off those magician like plays, there are some times where you just look out there and you're just like, there's nothing. So I just have to, punt this and go and live to see another down. And I think he'll learn that over time. It was nice, if you're someone who wants to see Caleb Williams succeed, it was nice tonight to see him do some of the easy stuff and make it look easy. I just think there's a larger learning curve there than maybe anyone would have expected or hoped for Caleb to realize what he can and can't get away with. And he's no longer, the best athlete every single time he sets foot on the football field.
Yeah, I think Jeff said it. Like the welcome to the NFL moments are coming, and they're necessary. Like those are the reps in live games are something that you cannot substitute for. And so I think like it's all in service of making him better both this season and down the line. And the good news is, if you're a Bears fan watching the game tonight, like, that defense seems pretty for real, right? And so I think they're going to give them a chance to allow for the growing pains that Caleb Williams needs while still keeping them somewhat competitive.
And on that same kind of note, like last week, the Bears had a very similar game, but Caleb didn't make the big mistakes. And because of that, they were able to just kind of squeak by and eke by with the win. Whereas tonight, he puts the ball in harm's way just a little bit too much, and it just doesn't give them a chance to win.